Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back to the new academic session 2021, and today we'll be studying physics. Okay. Before we start with the syllabus, I'm going to tell you what this paper consists of. That means the physics paper is of total 100 marks, which has been divided into two papers. The first paper will consist of the theory part, okay, and the second paper consists of the practical part. And the theory part, as you can see, it carries 70 marks, and the practical it carries 30 marks. So let me tell you how the 30 marks has been broken down. 30 marks. Firstly, you will have to perform practical based on the practice that we are going to carry out throughout the year in the laboratory. Okay, and finally you will have to perform the practical in front of the visiting examiner for 3 hours, which carries 15 marks, and this 15 marks consists of 2 questions there. Okay. Secondly, you have to do the project work, and the topic of the project will be given to you shortly, based on which you have to prepare your project work, which carries 10 marks. And lastly, practical file means whatever practicals we are going to perform in the lab throughout the year, you have to maintain a practical record, that is called the practical file, and after showing the practical file to the examiner, you will be obtaining 5 marks. So this way you will be performing 30 marks practical. Okay. Now in paper 1, let me come back to the theory part now. This paper 1 consists of various units there. Okay. In total you have got 10 units, and the marks distribution of the 10 units, I'm going to tell you. The first unit is electrostatics. Marks for electrostatics which will be asked in the ISA exam is 14 marks. Second, you have current, electricity, carrying, current, electricity and magnetic effect of current and magnetism. Okay. Fourth, we have electromagnetic induction and alternating current. Now these 3 units together, along with a very small unit called electromagnetic waves, so which makes 4 units together, it carries 16 marks. Okay. Then comes your 6th unit, that is optics. It's a huge unit, and the marks, weightage of marks is also huge. It carries 80 marks. Alright. Then comes dual nature of radiation. Dual nature of radiation and matter. And the 8th unit, atoms and nuclei. These 2 units together carry 12 marks. Alright. Then electronic devices. Electronic devices, not a very big unit, so it carries 8 marks. And lastly, we have a very short unit called communication systems. Because it is a very short unit, the marks carried by it is 2 marks. So if you total the marks, weightage of marks for all the different units, it comes down to 70 marks. Okay, this is how questions will be asked, and based on this outline of the syllabus, I am going to start the first unit for you, that is electrostatics. Okay, electrostatics. Electro means charges, electron is a charge, so it comes from the word electron, and statics means at rest. So this unit deals with charges at rest. So the first unit we are starting today is electrostatics. Alright, so it is a branch of physics which deals with the study of charges at rest. Okay, this branch of physics is called electrostatics, or sometimes it is also called static electricity, and sometimes it is even called frictional electricity, because static charges is a result of friction between two objects. Okay, let me give you a very simple example. If you rub something, if you rub a plastic scale against your hair, okay, and you try to attract bits of paper using that plastic scale, the bits of paper get attracted towards the plastic scale. Now the attraction is occurring because there is some charge residing on the surface of the plastic scale because of electrostatics. Alright, so let me tell you what happens actually inside an atom. You have proton plus neutron in the nucleus, and surrounding it you have the orbits in which you have the electron, and if it is the valence shell, now this electron is called valence electron, or if it is free to move, it is also called free electron. Now what happens is that when you rub two objects together, this valence electron gets transferred to another neighboring object, okay, if you are charging by friction. Alright, now since it has lost one electron, it has lost negativity, so it acquires a net positive charge. If the body is neutral, then the number of proton and neutron and the number of electron, that means the total positive charge will be equal to the total negative charge, because you know that number of proton is equal to number of electron, okay, in a neutral atom. But if you are charging the object, then what happens? It is going to lose its electron, and the neighboring object is going to gain this electron, so it is going to gain electron. Now after gaining electron, it has gained negativity, right? So the other object will be acquiring, that means it will be having excess number of electrons compared to the number of protons, so it will be acquiring net negative charge. Now if the body is an insulating one, these charges cannot be conducted from inside the body, so they remain on the surface of the body. That is why the charges cannot move and they remain static at their position. That is why this type of electricity is called static electricity, or sometimes it is called frictional electricity. Alright, so with this concept, let me tell you what is charge now. Charge is something possessed by material objects that makes it possible for them to exert electrical force and to respond to electrical force. So if the charge comes into the vicinity of an electrical force, then it will be affected by that electrical force. It either will be attracted or it will be repelled, okay, and it also responds to that electrical force. Now as you know from your basics, there are two types of charges. They are positive charge and negative charge, and if you bring two charges together, whether they are going to repel or attract, that means how they are going to behave with each other, or how they are going to interact with each other, depends on the nature of charges, okay. If this is positive charge and this is negative charge, they are going to attract, okay, and if this positive charge comes in the vicinity of another positive charge, then they are going to repel. So they are actually going to experience some force of attraction or repulsion between them, okay, and that force is called Coulomb's force, which we are going to deal with later on in this class, okay. Now before we move on to that law, very important law in electrostatics, let me give you two properties of charges, okay. Charges have to possess important properties. Two properties we are going to do now. The first one is quantization of charge. Now say a body has acquired a net positive or negative charge. Why has that body obtained a net positive or negative charge? Because certain number of electrons has been transferred from or to the body, okay. So what will be the amount of net positive charge acquired by the body? It is going to be the integral multiple of the basic electronic charge. So this quantization of electric charge is nothing but the property by virtue of which all free charges are integral multiple of a basic unit of charge of an electron or a proton, denoted by the letter E. Because so and so many number of electron has been transferred, that means the total charge will be depending on the number of electrons. So the total charge has to be an integral multiple of the basic electronic charge. So if Q is the total charge attained by the body, then Q has to be equal to integral multiple of the basic electronic charge, and this value of E is equal to, you should be knowing, 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So any body acquiring a net positive or negative charge has to be a multiple of 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Okay. The next property is conservation of charge. Okay. Like we have conservation of mass, conservation of energy, we also have conservation of charge. It is a property by virtue of which the total charge of an isolated system always remains constant or conserved. Alright? That means if we have a system of two bodies and one body is losing electron, where will the lost electron go? It will go to the another body that is gaining the electron. But if you take the system of two bodies as a whole, the total number before the friction and after the friction has occurred, it remains the same. That is the meaning of conservation of charge. So, for an isolated system, the total charge always remains a constant. Okay. Now, let us move on to a very important law in electrostatic, that is called Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law in electrostatic. Like we had gravitational law, Newton's law of gravitation, it stated that the force of gravitation is directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Same way we are going to state Coulomb's law. Say you have two charges of values Q1 and Q2 and they are separated by a distance r. And one thing here you should know that these Q2, Q2 are considered as point charges. Now what is the meaning of point charge? Point charge, because if you take the distance between the two charge very big, okay, then if the separation becomes too big, then these two charges can be considered as point charges. Okay. Now we have got 2 point charges Q1, Q2 separated by a distance r. According to Coulomb's law, the force of interaction, means the force of attraction or repulsion depending on the nature of charges, is directly proportional to the product of the two charges. I will take the modulus of it because we are not concerned, if you take the magnitude, we are not concerned about the sign of the charges. So Q1, Q2, and it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance separating the two charges. Okay. In the next step, we are going to take this proportionality sign out and put an equal to sign, followed by a constant K. Okay, this K is very important in this chapter. Now this K, the value of K depends on the medium separating the two charges. Now these two charges can be kept in air, they can be kept in vacuum, they can be kept in water. So depending on the medium between them, the value of K depends. Now this K in SI system, K is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Now this is a new term for you. This epsilon naught is called absolute electrical permittivity of free space. So this epsilon naught is called absolute electrical permittivity of free space. If you put this symbol 0 here, it becomes free space. Okay. Now in SI system, the value of K, if we take all these values into consideration, the value of K becomes equal to 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square. Okay. So if you write this law again, putting the value of K, Coulomb's law becomes F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2, of course the magnitude, divided by R square. So this is the mathematical form of Coulomb's law in electrostatics. That is all in today's class. We will see you in the next class. Thank you for your attention.